That was annoying. All right, guys. Hope you guys join back. I apologize for those technical difficulties. I hope my camera doesn't go out again. I was not anticipating my camera dying. What's up? What's up, Emmanuel? I see this guy is surfing all the time. I wish I went to your medical school. You guys sound like you have so much fun. I've been good. We're about to actually go into a wellness week ourselves, so we're actually about to have a nice week off. So I'm just gonna be chilling. Thank you for the congratulations. Congratulations to you as well. I know you guys just finished up a block too. How's everything been? I apologize to everybody that's coming back in. Yeah, I'm sorry for that. My computer program just decided to crash on me. I really apologize for that. I hope people didn't like give up on me. I tried to switch my camera over and the computer program crashed, so I had to just restart here. So I hope you guys are trickling in. Yeah, what's my plan for the rest of the night? So as I mentioned, I'm actually right now we're doing a wellness week, so I'm just really chilling. I'm not really planning to get into anything. We kind of talked about research a little bit before, and I'm actually trying to use this week as kind of like a research week to kind of get ahead on some of the things that I want to do as far as research. So I'll probably do a little bit of kind of just like prepping for the week, preparing for what I'm going to do next week or do this upcoming week as far as, getting involved with different programs at my school, different research, kind of figuring out how I can make my studying better, because I just want to make more time to do the things I enjoy, kind of like we mentioned earlier in the stream, just the different diversity programs, different clubs at the school. I want to get more involved, but I also don't want to spread myself too thin. So my goal right now is to get more efficient at studying, and then eventually get to a point where I can now and get myself more and more involved. That's awesome to hear. Yeah, school is tough. It's so much information. It's so much to digest. So I definitely feel that. And I was just looking over my block 4 or my block 3, my next block's information. And yeah, it's so much. I was just looking at one of the days, and it was just so much. But we signed up for this, and we can't really complain about what we signed up for. We just kind of have to take it on the chin and find a way to adapt and take advantage of it. Yes, sir. We came back. I hope people just refresh their application and pull up over here. I'm planning to go for a little bit longer than I originally said 6 to 7, but I'm happy to go longer if people still have questions. So next block we're doing cardiovascular. So it's cardio pulm. Next block. So I think most of it's cardio, and then I think there's there's 3A and there's 3B. So I think 3B is going to be pulmonary, and I think 3A is going to be cardio stuff. So it's just going to be all cardio. Yeah, Emmanuel, what are you guys working on right now as far as your blocks? Any collab videos? So I wanted to actually do a couple more interviews. I talked to a couple of different medical students, one medical student at my school who actually has a YouTube video. YouTube channel, and another medical student at another medical school that also has a YouTube channel. And I just want to get more involved with different collabs and talking to different people. If you guys have seen on my channel, I've talked to different medical professionals outside of medicine. So I actually talked to Emmanuel, and he was actually my first interview on my channel. But I want to get involved with other people outside of medicine because I like bringing medical students and pre-med students different perspectives on medicine, because I think that will just help us grow. And I like talking to people outside of my point of view. But I definitely want to get more involved with medical students, because I think that there's still a lot that I want to learn from different medical students, how they go about things, how upper years go about things versus how I'm going about things, and how different people even on the first year medical student level are going about things. So I want to find out a cool way to integrate that into my channel. So kind of just brainstorming that. I'll probably think about doing some more of that stuff this week, kind of brainstorming how I want to go about it. Yeah, a lot of farm. I don't know how much. We actually did a lot of farm recently on antibiotics and antivirals and HIV, opportunistic infections, and antiretroviral therapies. So we just did a lot of pharmacology. But even with every organ system, I think they're going to throw in farm for every single block. So it should be fun. We just did cardio. Next organ block is the second part, pulmonary. Yeah. That's how we kind of have it set up too. How was cardio? I have never really taken a cardio class. I've had like organ systems physiology or like physiology courses in undergrad, but I've never taken a cardio course like I'm about to take. So how was it? Let me know what the hardest parts or what the easiest parts of that cardio block. How's everybody else doing in the stream? What are you guys up to on this beautiful Sunday? When do you really dive into ortho or neuro? Do you know if it's about the same time for most med schools? Yeah, I mean, so there's for medical schools, if you're doing like an organ system like curriculum where it's like broken down to organ systems, for my school at least, we do it in the second year. So we do musculoskeletal and dermatology in the second year, and then we also do neuro in the second year. I think they kind of feel that those things are a little bit more, or at least neuro is a little bit more advanced, and they kind of want to give us an introductory to a lot of different things. So things like endocrine, things like neuro, things like musculoskeletal, they're a little bit more complex. Maybe that's why they put it in the second year. I don't necessarily know. But they don't necessarily have ortho or orthopedics because it's mainly just like musculoskeletal. And I heard there's like a hint of orthopedics in there, but they don't really give you like the detailed orthopedics. And I don't think any block will give you the detail or like exactly how this experience is. I think you have to shadow. I think you have to get in clinical experience in those different fields if you're interested in them. And it's really up to the third and fourth year rotations, those block rotations, where you get to kind of like really feel out those specialties. What's up, Juvir? We got a famous person in the chat. We got a certified YouTuber in the chat. Yeah, it just gave you the notification because I just probably started. It's probably because I just started up the second stream, because I was originally doing a stream at 6, and then they probably should have given you a notification for that. But then I had closed it out and I restarted it. So that's probably why you're getting it a second time. Thanks for pulling up. We were kind of talking about a different question that you were asking me, kind of for people outside of medicine. Since you're outside of medicine, you were asking me before how do you stay motivated, or what motivated you to go into medicine? Because a lot of people that might not be in medicine, they kind of just will see the long hours of schooling, and they'll see how much time you have to dedicate to it, and the fact that you have to constantly focus on delayed gratification and different things like that. And you're really focused. You're primarily, your mission as a physician is kind of like to help people and to help people through medicine. And you have to put your kind of life on the back burner to achieve that goal and to achieve that ultimate you have to make the ultimate sacrifice to achieve that goal. And it's not really the money that motivates people. The paychecks are definitely nice for physicians. Depending on your specialty, you can make a lot more money. But your motivation should never be money to go into medicine. Your motivation should be to use medicine and use science to help improve the lives of people that are suffering and people that are sick and need healing. So the hardest part about that process is you feel like you shouldn't have to sacrifice the amount of stuff that you have to sacrifice, like all the hours, not being able to get paid for a long time, getting paid even when you do get paid in residency. It's nothing per hour for the amount of hours you're working, the amount of time you're putting in. So, but those are all things that you kind of understand when you sign up for it, and it's something that's ingrained in the system right now. Hopefully improves as time goes on, and it's already improving from when physicians that are currently practicing were in medical school to what I'm experiencing now. There was no wellness week for current doctors right now. They implemented those things to help the mentality and the mental wellness of future doctors. So it's improving with time, and you just have to kind of do your research to make sure the school that you're going to is taking care of you. You get the best education possible, and you're motivated for the right reasons to go into medicine. So I just went off that little tangent there, but I know that's something that me and my cousin Juvir talked a little bit about, what would motivate somebody to go into medicine, because if you don't actually love it, the money is definitely not enough. You could make so much more money in finance or something and do that at such much younger age. It was good, but it was a lot. Interested in cardio for specialty. Hardest part for me was probably the farm. Other things can be difficult. The modalities used to visualize the heart, such as radiology. Yeah. What are some of the tools that you use to kind of learn radiology? And were there any, you mentioned ECG as well. Yeah, that's weird. Why didn't people getting my notifications? Anyway, YouTube's messing me up, man. YouTube's messing with my algorithms. YouTube's messing me up, not sending out notifications. But anyway, I think that, what are some resources that you use? Because I'm looking to kind of get a jump start on kind of getting involved with those things, because I know the hardest parts is radiology, learning how to read X-rays, learning how to read ECGs. And farm. Farm is like one of those things that it just doesn't make any sense to me. It makes sense because it's kind of like A plus B equals C, but it's just like so much memorization. Did you use Sketchy or anything? I know I was talking to a third year, and they were really heavily recommending Sketchy. So I want to know what you think, Emmanuel, if you used it, if you recommend it at all. How long are each block? So the blocks definitely vary. My first block was about 4 weeks of content, I believe. And then the second block was 6 weeks of content, seven weeks total, with the exam being the 7th week. I don't know what my upcoming block, but it usually varies like 4 to 6 weeks of content and then the exam for me. Yeah, from that perspective, it makes sense. And another question then, have you ever thought about quitting, switching careers? And if you did, what field would you go into? Yeah, so this is actually a common interview question. This is a common interview question because I think they want to see like how dedicated you are to medicine, but they also want to see kind of like what your interests are outside of medicine. If I think that if medicine didn't exist, if being a doctor didn't exist, I would probably choose to do something in like the strength and conditioning sector. I'm like super interested in musculoskeletal. I'm super interested in movement, working with athletes. So I would probably see myself doing something like that, starting up my own gym, teaching others how to strength train properly. There's this guy that I really admire. His name is David Alexander. He's a big strength and conditioning coach out in Miami, and he works with guys like Dwayne Wade, a lot of Dwayne Wade when he was playing, a lot of big time guys, and he really focuses on the science and the details of training and the science behind strength training. A lot of people look at strength trainers and look at personal trainers, and they just see people that are just counting reps, and it's a very tainted and very has a poor reputation right now, the field of personal training, because everybody just thinks that they could pull out their phone and be a personal trainer on Instagram. And there's a lot of missing detail, especially when you're working with high level performing athletes. So that's somebody that I really, really admire. And I would probably do something in the strength and conditioning field, in the strength and conditioning sector. Yvette Thomas, that's my mom. Hello. This question is from Triplet, Dr. Triplet. You make the first year of medical school look so easy. We know it is not. So many students are struggling with the constraints of COVID, virtual learning, keeping up with the rigors of curriculum, and balancing relationships with significant others. In your quietest moments, can you share your struggles, your fears, your challenges? Yeah, so it is not easy. Medical school is not easy. You could just look up any medical school week in the life vlogs. I don't record them as much. I want to get more into recording them because I think that the transparency is important. But a lot of people do struggle, and it's not an easy thing. I'm sorry if I make it look too easy. It's really what you put out there. So a lot of the stuff that I put out there is I try to stay positive. I try to keep positive energy on medical school because I want people to go into medicine. I want people that look like me to go into medicine. I want minorities to go into medicine. I want people to see medicine as a positive thing and see it in a positive light. So I try to stay positive around it. That's probably why it makes it look so easy. But it's just what you put out there and what you see. So there are other people that are much more transparent that show the struggle. If you watch my last week in the life video where I did my vlog, you'll see the struggle. You'll see how I'm sometimes super tired, or I look super tired, look super drained. You'll see me in the beginning of the week where I have energy, and you'll see me at the end of the week where I'm completely exhausted. And you'll see that with so many other medical students, and it's so true. And you kind of have to take it week by week, day at a time. Some of the biggest struggles that I definitely struggled with coming in was just comparison. You see so many different people, and your mind's on focusing on getting into a good specialty, a good job. You think about all these different things that medical school requires out of you, and you just want to be the best you can be. And you see all these other people that you don't know what their struggles are, you don't know what they're going through, but you just see the best of the best because everybody puts on their best in front of to perform. You want to show your best. You want to show that you're competing with one another and you're up to par. So you're constantly comparing yourself to, am I doing enough? Am I doing enough in comparison to this person? And the biggest thing that I learned through that is just to stay in my own lane, kind of keep my head down. There's different things that you could learn from everybody. Like I said to Anonymous's question earlier, like what do I want to do? Are there collabs coming? And yes, I love doing collabs. I want to talk to medical students. I want to learn what they know. I want to be able to feed off of different people and use that energy. Having friends and having classmates that you study with, it helps you feed off their energy, but you have to pick the right energy and make sure you have the right energy around you, that you're motivated and not deterred because of that comparison. Some of the fears, especially with COVID, is definitely feeling like you're getting an inadequate education. I know my school is doing the absolute best that they can do, but there's no question that the in-person curriculum that they would have been able to offer us is much better than what we're able to get now, just because of the constraints of all the different things. And some of the biggest fears, and I see it in different students as well, it's just the doubt that we're going to get the quality of education that we're kind of paying for because of COVID's restrictions. And you feel like, all right, I'm not able to get into an anatomy lab. I'm going to be, we're going to produce the worst surgeons, or I'm not able to get in and practice clinical skills. So I'm not going to be good with seeing patients. And those are some of the things that you're fearful of. So you just kind of have to take it week by week, take it day by day. One of the other fears is feeling burnt out. And, when you feel burnt out, you feel discouraged. That's why things like Wellness Week that we're about to have is super key. And I recommend, like, if you're applying to medical schools, if you're looking into medical schools, ask them about certain things like that. What do you do to make sure that your students' mental health is prioritized? Because a lot of the times, I can't imagine, we just did 2 blocks, right? Back to back, essentially. And I can't imagine just going straight into a third block right now. I would not be able to do it. I was completely drained. I'm exhausted. I want time for myself. I want time to be able to take a step back and do the things that I enjoy, catch up on things that I wanted to do for a long time. So I think those are probably the key things. Probably just the comparison, fears of not getting a quality education because of the challenges of COVID, and just making sure that your mental health is in check and making sure that you're not getting too burnt out, because burnout is one of those scary things, and it's real, and you see the suicide rates, and you see amongst medical students and physicians, and this is a very somber thing to talk about. And I actually did a presentation on it in my CBL group, just looking at the different numbers of satisfaction of different specialties in medicine, and the burnout rates and the suicide rates. And it's one of those things that's super scary, because you're essentially going to a field that burns out and commits suicide at like a three times the rate as anybody else. Or I know at least burnout, I think it was like 40% of people feel burnt out, versus like in other careers, it's like 8 to 10%. So you're essentially going into a field where you know that people feel overworked. So you have to kind of prioritize that mental health. Yeah, that's a great question. A loaded one, but a great question. Learning the physiology first before getting into drugs. Sketchy, highly recommend. I was afraid of Sketchy, not gonna lie. I thought it was kind of like a little like kiddish, because it's like the cartoons and it's like the storytelling. But I've been hearing a lot of good recommendations, and I wish I jumped onto it earlier. I heard about Pixarize. I don't know if you've tried that yourself, Emmanuel, but I know Sketchy. I want to get into it because there's no way that I could learn farm the way that I learned farm last block. It just wasn't efficient, and none of it really stuck. So I want to get into Sketchy for sure. If you got a password or anything, or a Google Drive that you could send me, just hit me up. All right, how's everybody else doing? Any other questions? I might go for maybe like 5 to 10 more minutes if you guys still got questions. Anything you want to ask, I'm happy to answer any questions. It's been a pretty good stream other than the technical difficulties. I wish it was better. Again, I apologize for that. I haven't used, but I heard of Picturize. Yeah, I think Sketchy is good for learning farm and micro, especially for boards. Yeah, I agree. One thing that maybe you could answer, Emmanuel, I'm interested to hear your take. I was asking some people too. I was actually asking JR from Evolving Medic, and I was asking him like what he does, because he actually recently put out a video on his study techniques, and he talked about how he focuses on his lectures first and then uses the outside resources. And I've done that. I did that in the first block, and then the second block I really focused on outside resources first for my fundamental stuff, my fundamental knowledge, and then I went to my curriculum stuff for just like to fill in the gaps for what they need me to know. And I felt like that wasn't as good. So what do you use? Do you kind of like focus on your lecture material first and then kind of use the outside resources to kind of like enhance your knowledge, or do you typically use the outside resources to gain like an understanding first and then go into your lectures? Let me know. I'm trying to figure out the best way to do it, because I feel like what I was doing last block was not efficient. Yeah, I mean, we test a lot on just like it's all clinical vignette. Okay, so they use MBME. Okay. So what is that? So that basically they just use like old boards exams to test them, or old board exam questions. I don't think ours are like based on the actual lecture. Like ours are based on like the Jeff MD curriculum. So there's stuff that overlaps obviously with the outside resources like Pathoma, Boards and Beyond, but there are certain like little details. Like we got questions on we had a lecture on kind of like on like microaggressions and racism. And we got a question about that on our exam. We have lectures on just different things like that, professionalism, like the use of social media and stuff like that. So we'll get like random questions like that on our exam, but the most of them are like clinical vignette situations where it's kind of like your patient presents with this and this, based on their labs, what other symptoms would they present with? Or your patient presents with this, and this, like what's their chromosomal translocation that you're expecting here? So it's all like clinical vignettes. Oh, your tests are free response. I got you. So same, definitely do school resources first and foremost. Yeah, I think that I messed up by not doing that in the second block because I felt like there were so many gaps in like what I needed to know versus what I did know. Like I knew a lot about certain things, but there were certain things that like I didn't need to know about for my exam, but I just knew about it anyway. I probably could have still known about those things and known this stuff for my exam if I focused mainly on my school material. So I think in this next block, I'm just going to focus on prioritizing my school material. Any pre-meds in the stream right now? Any questions that you guys are interested in? I know it's kind of like a dull time right now for pre-meds. You're kind of just doing your classes. You're not really. I actually had one person ask me about if I could read a personal statement, but yeah, you're just kind of like focusing on classes. I think like MCAT stuff kind of ramps up in like the winter time. Usually winter break, people try to like start getting that stuff in. But I'm happy to answer any questions if you have any thoughts or questions if you're a pre-med right now, or interest in medical school. The question is, look how close your course objectives are to the step ones. Yeah, I haven't actually looked at many step one questions, so it's hard for me to say like what exactly. I think that their goal is to like build us up. So like the first block exam, it was all like case vignettes, but I feel like this block exam, because they introduced like complete blood counts and like blood work and like labs and different tests like that, it's getting closer and closer to what a step one exam question would look like with like the long case vignette. And they show us images of the blood work and stuff like that. So I think they're slowly building us up. I could see like a trend with that, with my curriculum, kind of just like building us up slowly and slowly to get to that level. What are your free response questions like? How do they grade that? If you guys are interested in great YouTube content, go check out Emmanuel's channel, Health E Tech. He puts out some great content. He's got a lot of great content, talking with different medical students, talking with people about their MCAT, talking about people who have gotten full ride scholarships to Harvard. So yeah, you want to check him out. Speaking just from my perspective, I feel it could be a lot more pressure because you have to figure out what way to approach the question. I agree. Are you talking about like the like multiple choice versus free response, or are you kind of like just talking about the case vignettes in general? Okay. Yeah. That's one of the things that I was kind of struggling with on the second exam. I think, with multiple choice, it's so easy because you could rely on a lot of just like recognition, but at the same time, that's kind of detrimental because you don't always, because it's so many questions, like 120 questions, 3 hours. It's so many questions, you get fatigued and you just kind of, start looking for keywords here and there. You start looking for, um, like little key phrases that will help you answer the question faster, and you might just miss like an important thing. So like you could get out of the test, and it felt like this for me. Like I got out of the test, I'm like, this could have gone really good or really bad because if you are in a situation where, let's say, you read everything thoroughly and you answered the question properly, then you probably got the question right. But if you miss a key word or key phrase because you were reading it too fast or you skipped over something important, and they just do a little trick in there, it could really throw you off. But I think that's kind of helping us prepare for step at the same time. But yeah, I can't imagine free response. I assume that there's some type of partial credit, but at the same time with free response, I think, yeah, free response, you have to show command of the material in long run. It seems like it helps with your clinical reasoning. Yeah, I agree with that, and I think that if you have any, we could definitely set up a phone conversation this week. If you have time, I definitely want to see how you're using those free response and kind of how you're using that to guide your studying. Because if I could get more clinical reasoning in with that free response, I think that will help me even better with the multiple choice. Because if I can have clinical reasoning and approach a multiple choice question, there's no reason why I should get that wrong. I think that's one of the things I kind of struggled with especially with the different case vignettes, and how even especially with anemias and like blood and hematology, there's so many different like little things here and there that could go wrong, and the blood cells might look exactly the same, but the cause of the ailment might be based on like one or two different things. So I think that the ability to reason and constantly be able to say like, all right, this is this, and categorize things and have like your brain flowing in the right way, will help not only to be a better clinician, but also to get the questions right on the exam, which is ultimately, you're trying to get the question right so you can, score well. But yeah, let's definitely set something up. I want to hear about your strategy so far, because it sounds like you've been pretty successful. How's everybody else doing in the chat? Let me know where you are in the journey. If you're in college, if you're in high school, in medical school, in a different career, not in medicine. I'm always interested to hear about like where you guys are in your journey, or like where you guys are along the path. So let me know. Let me know in the chat. It's okay. I just see Emmanuel's face in the chat, so I want to see other faces. What do you do to unwind in between study sessions or long days? Yeah, I've actually this past weekend I've played like a lot of video, not a lot, but I played video games. I feel like that's one of my favorite things to do to unwind and just to like chill. Just play video games. That's one of my favorite things. I try to go to the gym. I try to go outside. I think this weekend I probably went outside like a couple times, just because I've just been so exhausted and so tired. I like slept most of yesterday. My exam was on Friday, so I just chilled all of Friday night, and then Saturday, like I just slept the whole day and just like played video games. I was just like pretty much a slob all Saturday. Today I was a little bit more productive. Just doing the stream, obviously, doing some other stuff earlier today, actually going outside. So that was nice. And my goal this week is to really unwind and get involved with just maybe sightseeing, walking outside, getting back into the rhythm of going to the gym regularly. I kind of fell off. For you guys that don't know, like I've been pretty active in the gym for probably the last like since like high school into college, and because I've worked out so much, I just kind of like lose motivation sometimes. to go to the gym, just because I look at the gym in a different way. Like, I don't really need to go to the gym to look good for my physique. I really just do it for health reasons and for motivation to or just like for the sport of like lifting. So I don't really need to like lose weight, or I don't really have like a fitness goal. So I think it's really hard for me to like find motivation. I kind of just like try to find different workout programs or different things that I could try out, because I look at fitness in like a different mind, because I was a personal trainer and I do really enjoy like fitness and exercise. So I kind of look at it as the sport and not necessarily like working out to like lose weight or anything like that. So I'm trying to find more motivation to get back in the gym more regularly. What's up, Savy? Appreciate you for tuning in, man. I know this is like irrelevant probably to stuff that you like. I don't know what you're interested in. Let me know, like as far as just like school and stuff like that. But appreciate you for tuning in. You're a real one. Just sent the personal statement. Can't wait to hear. Yeah, I'm excited to read it. I've read. I can't tell you how many personal statements I've read. Probably somewhere between 10 and 20 over this last summer. I've had a lot of different people reach out to me during the last application cycle to read their personal statements, read their applications, and it's something that I really enjoy because I get to hear about different people's stories, and it's nice to be able to help somebody. I will tell you that, and I'll probably tell you I'll probably tell you when I email you as well, but my say is just my personal opinion. It's not the end all be all. You know, I did get into medical school, but everybody's story is different. So it's always just suggestions, and it's nice to, offer my suggestion, but you could always just reject me. No personal feelings, and no, personal. There's nothing personal if you like don't like what I have to say, or if you disagree. A lot of the stuff I like to correct with personal statements is just like the wording, how it flows. Does it make sense? Does it captivate and tell your story as much as you want it to? So those are the main things I look for with personal statements. And then as far as just like the content of it, that's really up to you to kind of fill in. Oh, here's an important one. Do you ever fall behind? And if you do, how do you catch back up? Emmanuel, thank you for tuning in. Peace out, brother. How do you catch back up? So I use the weekends usually to catch up. I do fall behind, and it's something I'm trying to get better with. I think I'm going to take a strategy of previewing lectures the night before, and kind of just really making a solid effort to make sure that I do that. I think that doing kind of like the pre-work beforehand will give me a leg up as far as like preventing myself from falling behind. But it is a lot of material, and it's a lot to deal with. So you do fall behind. And one of the biggest things I've kind of learned is to kind of, you could either, let that consume you, or kind of take it one step at a time to kind of come back. Luckily, the curriculum kind of builds upon itself. So even if you miss something the first time, you might be able to redeem yourself and get another chance at it another time in the future. But I usually just may try to use the weekends, work a little bit more hours on the weekends to catch up, and maybe use the beginning of the following week to catch up. But then that may make me fall behind even more. So I try not to do that. But it's one of those things where you just have to try to stay on top of everything, because it can roll you over if you fall behind too much. Appreciate you for pulling up, Savy. I'm happy that it's interesting. Responding to the questions myself, to even asking Devontae what he thinks about it. Yeah. I'm happy that you might be interested. Medicine is one of those things that's like super overwhelming, especially when you're like young. But in medical school, just think about like school in general, but it's one of those things that if you find a passion for it, if you love helping people, if you love science, it could take you a long way. Appreciate you. The live's been great. I'm so happy. I know I've gone a little bit over. I want to make up for the fact that like I had those technical glitches. So I'm happy to. I have nothing else to do tonight, so I'm just happy to stay on and chill with you guys. Are there any electives you're excited to take? That's a good question. I have to look into the different electives. If you're talking about just like the electives in different specialties, I would have to see. I think that the more I get involved with the just the curriculum and learn more about the different subspecialties and different like organ systems and the clinical medicine relative to those organ systems. I think that those will excite me more to kind of get into the different electives and subspecialties. Obviously, because I'm interested in ortho, I'm looking forward to doing like an ortho sub-I, like an elective rotation. But I have to see. There's so many different things that are out there, and like I said before earlier in the stream, like there's so many things that I want to do. There's so many things I want to get involved with, and it's just like, how do you determine what's worth your time almost when your focus, your main focus is getting good grades and learning the material. But I'm here for 4 years, so I have plenty of time to get involved. That's my mindset, at least. Steve, thank you for tuning into the channel. I'm happy to provide whatever insights I have. I love telling my story. I love, the opportunity to help motivate somebody. So I'm happy to be able to help you. Currently completing school in the spring and getting ready to apply this upcoming cycle. Out of curiosity, did you consider Drexel at all? Yeah, so I did apply to Drexel. Congratulations on, graduating soon. I know it's a tough time right now, but just keep pushing strong. And I'm looking forward to your upcoming application cycle. Definitely stay in touch and let me know if you need anything along the way. Did I consider Drexel? Yes. I actually didn't interview at Drexel. I believe I did. I filled out the secondaries and I got an interview invite, but I decided not to attend just because at that time I had already either interviewed at Jefferson or had an interview at Jefferson. And because for me, I told myself if I were to come to Philly to go to medical school, Jefferson would probably be the school that I would want to go to out of all of them. And because I had an interview with Jefferson and because I had multiple medical school interviews invites at that point, I decided against doing the Drexel interview. But it's like any other school. They have great programs, a lot of great things to offer. Unfortunately, I heard that their hospital closed. So that's a tough situation for people that are interested in going to Drexel, but that's something that you would definitely want to ask their program directors and their admissions team and the students that go there, how they feel that has affected them. Because I wouldn't want to speak for somebody or some school that I don't personally attend. But I did definitely consider Drexel at one point. I applied there and I filled out my secondary, so I was interested.